Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the last game in round 3 of the Guinness Six Nations. This one, France versus Italy. These two sides have not got off to the campaign start that they would have been after. To be fair though, Italy probably aren't too disappointed with how they currently sit. They are on 1 point compared to what we saw last year, where they did only receive the 1 point throughout their whole campaign. They have a chance here to receive maybe another one, but they are in France. And this French side, they want to keep on climbing the ranks. Now, I should mention Scotland, after their victory over England, have actually moved up a little bit higher. They are up to second, and Ireland are still sitting at the top of the bunch, undefeated with 3 wins from 3. But I hope you guys are all doing well. Looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides. First of all, for the French, it is going to be as follows. Sirubai, Pietro Malvaca, and Yui Antonio. They are at number 3, Cameron Woki, and the big man, Pasolo Tuolangi. This youngster from the Under-19 World Cup was on fire, and now he gets his starting debut for Les Bleus. I think he's going to be a really hard player to put down on the ground. I think that line-out time will be interesting to see how he matches up against the Italians here, and perhaps if he does well, could get himself a starting spot in the very near future as well. We have got Bodian at 6 with Charles Olivon and Francois Cruz starting in as the number 8. Maxime Luku at 9. He needs a big game. A lot of people have been talking about whether or not he can match what Antoine Dupont has been doing, and their backline just hasn't quite been firing for the French the same way as it has been in the past. Mathieu Jalibert and number 10 with Jonathan Dante and Gal Fiku in the midfield. Belbari out on one wing, Damien Pinot out on the other, and Thomas Ramos to close out the starting side. For the French, for the Italians, it's Fischetti, Nicotera, and also Zeloshi. There at number 3, Canoni and Ruza will be the locking duo. And then Favretto at number 6, Mikel Lamaro at 7, and Vincent slotting in as the number 8. Paige Rello actually gets the promotion into the starting side with Paolo Garbisi. There at number 10, Mori and Brits in the midfield, Montejoani, Mononcello, and also Capuzio close out this Italian backline. This match is fixed, says Kerr. Is it fixed in favour of France, or is it fixed in favour of Italy, out of curiosity? I assume in favour of France. Maybe, and hi all in Amish, says Robert. And also, let's see if I can stay up this time. I'm already like asleep, says Panzer Blaze. And how will you rate the poor performance of the Black Caps, losing 3-0 versus Australia? Yeah, it wasn't quite their best performance. I think that selection-wise, they got it really wrong in, I think, a majority of those matches, other than the first. Then alongside that, we didn't really see them even show up in that third match. And the rain, of course, didn't help it. They were going to be chasing a very large total anyway, though. We got the laughing faces from Kerr as well. As I tell Hamish, did you get rid of the spider? Did it get out by itself? So, I have a story about said spider. In between those other 2 live streams, I did put it in a glass and I did put it outside. So, unfortunately, I evicted the spider from the lounge. Only because he was looking at me funny. But looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides, there are certainly plenty of firepower coming across the board. Like I mentioned, these two sides, they have played 2 matches. And Italy, they are currently sitting with 1 point. It's all right. They just need to get a couple more. They didn't do very well in the point scoring department up against the Irish in their last contest, 36-0. But up against the English, they almost managed to pull off their victory. Ireland, they were able to defeat France at home. France away from home, they were defeated by Scotland. Let's say it how it is. That last try should have stood. But they get the points, and it keeps their Six Nations alive. From here, though, they need to win all of their remaining games. They've got Wales in a couple of weeks. They've got England. Those are the last 2 contests. If they can win both of those with bonus points, including this game as well, Six Nations are still alive for this French side, which heavily needs the support of their side. I'm also covering sevens today. Says Yanlu. I do not think Italy will add to their 3 victories against France. Says Icarus. Yeah, it's going to be a tough day. And this could be a one-sided affair, but I hope it's not. I hope that... Well, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because, of course, I hope that Italy do well, but if Italy do well, it means that France will be more and more ridiculed by their supporters. So you need a happy medium, how Italy put in a good showing, but France also still get themselves the victory that get their nation back behind them. I know that since the Rugby World Cup, with the fact that they aren't in the best form, sounds like it has been an upwards battle of trying to get people back behind this French side. See if they can do it here. And Parisi to score the first try. Parisi. I'm looking through for Parisi. What number is he? I hope Italy can stay in this game. It can be a big score. I hope not. Is this happening in France? It is. So they've got the home field advantage, and it is now kicked off from the right to left by the French. Let's see what they can do here. Mikel Amaro takes it inside of the 22 for the Italians. I should mention my brain is still half asleep. I managed 3 hours for sleep-wise, which is good compared to what we've had over the last 2 or so nights. But later on in the sevens, I feel like just anything Parisi retired about 3 seasons ago. Yeah, so he might, it could come off the bench. But now nice pass out wide. I mean, Mornay's staying. Everyone thought he retired, but he'd still come back for another British and Irish Lions tour. I think if they called upon him for the kicking. Or the voices going as well. Thomas Ramos currently in possession of the French after Italy kick it downfield. There has to be the penalty. Yes, it is for Giosui Zalochi. No idea how to say that first name. And Hamish, your prediction was right yesterday. England again faltered the second innings to give India a chance. Yeah, because like they did all right, the English, but then they let their partnership grow when India were 7 down, and then they let the partnership grow when they were 8 down. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully it's a decent finish to that test match. But a lot of people want to see, of course, England get themselves the win there so that we go into the final test match 2-2. And then anything from there can happen. But nice bit of a run. Being driven back with Matthias Lebel out on that way. Hang on. What's Matthias Lebel doing there? I thought it was Belbari. Supposed to be out on that left wing. A little bit of a late change, perhaps, for the French. I know France have the tools to win, but I'm starting to get a soft spot for the Italian team. Want them to win here today. I'll be honest, Benetton in the URC are slowly becoming, I don't want to say my second favourite team in the URC because I don't know who my first favourite team is, but they've got a good squad and they've got a few guys from the Southern Hemisphere slotting in there as well. A few Kiwis, a few Australians, but a lot of Italian talent. Going through thoughts on the fact that La Rochelle are now only 5 points off relegation playoff after yesterday's defeat. Says Kerr, isn't it crazy how quickly a season can change a team? Even like, if you look at the URC, it's a good thing that they don't have relegation because the Sharks, a side that have, I'm not going to say all the money in the world, but they've got a lot of backing and they're playing awful at the moment. They got 1 win of 9 games or something along those lines, which is just not what they would have wanted. Oh, it might be 2 wins now. But yeah, like La Rochelle, to me, have always been considered as one of those top French sides. But the fact that they are now in the position that, you know, a couple more games don't go their way and they could be down in D2. Like, yet they could still win the Champions Cup is the weird thing, isn't it? Because, like, if they beat the Stormers in South Africa, then they'll actually make their way through. Looks like a little bit of an injury here for the main man, Zalochi. Oh, no, he's just poking his eyeball, putting the magnifying glass back in. Toulon also not clear of relegation. I guess it just shows you how quickly the French competition in particular can change. Because, yeah, like, those are 2 sides that I think should be nowhere near getting kicked out of that competition, but they're close. The All Blacks ever lost on Eden Park? Yeah. Not to Australia, though. I think Australia have always been very close. Your favourite is Glasgow, no shame in that. And I've got the kit to back it up, of course. Could have worn it for this game, but everyone would have been very confused at what blue team I was supporting. Kicked them behind by France, looking for territory. They had the penalty advantage, so they will go back, French farmers. About to start another protest, says Kerr. The Springbok Sevens didn't even get out of the group. And now they have to play for 9th place. Their 7 Springboks team are bad. Says Mono the Grange. I actually overestimated the form of this Blitzbox team, because I thought that they were still pulling off upsets up against big sides, whereas they've actually lost a lot of their recent games. Hey, Hamish, long time no see, brother. Great to be back. I suggest the Italian scrum half need to be a lot quicker, getting the ball away from the ruck. Yeah, because they've gone with Martin Pagerello. This matchup looks like, oh, France have actually kicked this one for the corner. That is something they don't do, isn't it? Kicking for the corner this early on in the game. Normally they would like to go for the 3 points. Maybe this is a new aggressive French team. Maybe they just need to light that fire and go for tries, or at least as many as they can physically get. So it was the last Ireland-Wales game with both sides wearing their home kit. Have you heard this? Really? By that reaction, no, I haven't heard it. So what colour is someone going to go? Like Wales go to white, I guess? Because I know it's for like the colourblind side of things, I think. But I'll be honest, what colour... Like, I can't... Oh, Wales have that yellow and black kit. Of course, I would remember that one. So I wouldn't mind seeing them wear that one, but I still feel like, in terms of, like, South Africa versus New Zealand, like, the green and gold compared to the All Blacks kit, I still feel like there's enough of a difference that they don't have to wear alternatives. But then I think they still have to now. It's like when the Pumas play South Africa and Argentina have to wear the different kit. I get confused. And green and red too hard for colourblind people to tell apart. So from now on, they will wear different kits, presumably one in a change kit. Says Kerr. Now the scrum is in favour of France. They have got themselves the penalty advantage after the scrum was not able to hold up for the Italians' great attacking play. It looks like it's a foggy night, or someone just let off too many fireworks at the ground in the celebrations for the start of this match around the breakdown. Gregory Aldra, Cameron Walkie. This is quick from France. They have just gone through about 5 phases in about 5 seconds. And I think they've been held up. Who's underneath? Charles Olivon. I think he thinks he's got that one down. On-field decision is try. Belbari is watching on. I'll be honest, if you didn't know it was Belbari, you'd think it was a child watching a game of rugby. Doesn't look very old. The French winger, Cameron Walkie, just leapfrogging the breakdown. And then Charles Olivon. This will be interesting. Does the TMO see clear, conclusive evidence that France has grounded this ball? I think I see clear, conclusive evidence that Charles Olivon just knocked that ball on. But already we are going to get to see the TMO being brought into this game. But close to a knock-on, but he may have just regathered it, and it should be simple. The ones scoring points are Ireland, and the ones dropping the ball are Wales. Brutal, but kind of true, to be honest. Okay, the post is in the way. We just need to move that post and we'll know exactly whether or not Charles Olivon got that ball down. I don't think there's clear, conclusive evidence. So this should stay. Yeah, I think he knocked that onto the back. Wait, how have you got the ball on the line? You can't even see it. Okay, there was no clear knock-on. So they'll stick with the on-field decision of try. Even though I personally didn't see a grounding of that ball, other than way after when Olivon was getting up. But the on-field decision was try, so it's a try to France. Canes and the Chiefs this year going to be interesting. Blues can provide entertainment though, says Kerr. Yeah. I'm curious to see how the Hurricanes go up against the side that will try and defend. No offence to the Western Force, but it just wasn't quite there in their last match. But that was also because the Hurricanes were just throwing it at them. They just kept going and going and going. Told you it's fixed. France have TMOs in their pocket, says Kerr. Have I missed anything like the TMO? Says Eric. I'll be honest, it hasn't, like... I don't know if you were joking at the start, Kerr, about it being slightly fixed, but Like, yeah, there was nowhere there that I saw that ball over the line. Like, he was probably on the line, but we didn't see the ball on the line through the TMO angles. Like the commentators saying that Italy really need to get control of this game. I think what they're going to have to do is score a lot of points, but that conversion was good. Wow, says Robert. And so what did you think of the first weekend in Super Rugby Pacifica? Did any stand out for you? There weren't any upsets, which, to be honest, was kind of expected as well. Both sides, or both days of Super Rugby Pacific, I think most people knew roughly who was going to win them before it happened. Like, the game that I was actually the most unsure about was Tars versus Reds, and it was obvious quite early that the Reds were the better team out of those two sides, but who knows, maybe round two we'll have a couple upsets along the way. I think after the Scotland game, now this questions need to be asked about the TMO, their relationship to French rugby, says Kerr. I know the last match the TMO was questioned because of the Irish accent in a game that was so important for the Irish versus Scotland last game of the Six Nations. So there's, I'll be honest, the TMO, we still don't see any consistency, and yeah, it's not good. It's like in the sevens yesterday, there was some awful calls. And normally sevens isn't too bad. Like, you get one bad call in a round and everyone's like, oh, that's not good. But yesterday it was every game there was controversy in some regard. Like, a referee would miss a clear knock on, and then because of that, the non-Pacific Island team would win, is the way of describing it. Consistently siding with France. True. Gonna be kicked high from Pedrello down to the halfway line. Thomas Ramos lined up with a good shot. Speaking of France, Antoine Dupont, of course, his debut competition in the Vancouver Sevens, scored himself the last minute try to help get France through to the semi-finals of the Sevens League, something Dupont was not able to do for France in the most recent Rugby World Cup. So what Super Rugby Pacifica did you cover? We actually only covered the one game over the weekend. It was the Fijian draw versus the Blues. It's actually quite weird, the fact that we had 6 games of Super Rugby on, but the only game that I wasn't busy for was Blues versus Fijian draw, and that's because I made myself not busy during just that patch. Every other game we had something else on during, which was really weird. I'm used to having like a little bit of, like, I guess, flexibility on the weekend to be able to still do the streams. So we've ended up doing a lot of middle of the night streams, including this one. Of course, this one's a 4 a.m. stream on a Monday morning here in New Zealand. But next weekend, I'm hoping to do a lot more of the games. It was just, we couldn't really squeeze them in. But we've still got the sevens later on today. I believe in about 11 hours' time. It's going to be, or maybe 10 hours' time, we have got the final. Oh, that looked like a drop kick. Well, it's going to be coming from Capuzzo, but instead he's gone for the little chip and chase. 11 minutes into this contest, and the French still leading 7-0. Now Maxime Luku. Oh, okay, I understand why it looks so foggy in there. They closed the roof and then they let off fireworks. They've hotboxed themselves. Now out wide, Galfiku. Quick work in the breakdown from Damien Pinot. Now Luku goes across to Charles Olivon. And Rugby League Timo does better than Unions Timo. I didn't see the ball grounded by France. Wide cut out pass. Pieter Malvaka knocks the ball on. And Prohibition in Wales. You're banging on about this yesterday as well, says Kerr. Why have I forgotten what that word means? I feel like if it was in a crossword, I wouldn't have got that word, Kerr. But yeah, we've had some moments throughout games, unfortunately, that don't quite go how they play. We had a big report on the news, though. Fun fact, I actually watched the news for the first time in ages because I was at my nana's house yesterday. And they were talking about Scotland, not just like they had won like a massive game, but like they dominated the English and they got everything out of that game that they could have. And I was sitting there thinking, but they didn't get the bonus point. You know, that was probably a bonus point that if they had taken their Six Nations, maybe could have still been alive. Some side needs to try and shut down Ireland, though, if they want to try and, I guess, have any chance of winning the Six Nations. France can't do it. England, they could do it for Scotland. That is going to be the penalty to France at scrum time. You can see the frustration on the face of this Italian team who at the moment are just getting out-muscled out there on the park. Hopefully you can give them more Super Rugby matches, says Mono Lagrange. I mean, last year we covered about 95% of the games, and then Sansa copyright struck us for the final. So, unfortunately, we didn't actually get to finish the season on a high. Do you cover all the games? We have covered every game of the Six Nations so far, and that is the plan to do throughout the rest of the competition. Only another 6 games to go. And then Super Rugby-wise, probably not every single game, but we're hoping to do, 4 or 5 games a weekend, I think on average is what we're going to be aiming for. On weekends with 7s, it is a little bit trickier, but we're still going to try and make it work. And Scotland worked good yesterday, like I said. It is expected to beat England, yet the world somehow sees it as a shock. They've beaten England consistently for the last few years. Says Kerr, they're on about a 4 or 5 match winning streak up against the English in the Six Nations, aren't they? So it's become just normal, but everyone still sees England as the favourite in those head-to-heads. I back Scotland. I got the score wrong. Ramos this time lining up the 3 points. 14 minutes in, and it is going to be now 10-0. Do you also cover the URC? We certainly do. Mainly the South African sides for the URC. I believe we cover maybe 90% of the South African teams in the URC. We normally try our best to cover as much as we can. Champions Cup as well, and the 7s. We're covering the Blitzbox game, Samoa's game, Fiji's game later on, and the 2 semi-finals. And 2 years in a row, shocking. And also, we have got there, oh no, go Panthers, says Gert. Oh, the Panthers lost to Wigan. That's a big win for old Wigan because, the NRL, of course, gets talked up a lot compared to competitions around the world. Was it one-sided, Blues Nate, or was it a real close game? And we'll just look at how good Wales was in the rugby in the 70s when they let women vote that decade. I don't think it was a coincidence, says Cool Story Bro. I was really worried where that was going, but I wasn't reading quick enough to be able to read it in time to not say it at the same time. But it didn't end up as bad in yellow for the Canes games, says Kerr. Do you think I should wear the Hurricanes kit? Who are they playing next week? I think you just said. Is it the Chiefs that they've got? Oh, is that 2 weeks' time? I've got a penalty advantage here, the Italians, but thank you very much, Kerr. Very, very much appreciated. That'll go towards probably a cruise, to be honest. I feel like my mum, she's been looking at them ever since we got off that ship. I've been working out whereabouts we could end up going in the future. 15 minutes and this game's going quick. I think it's because we're talking about a whole heap of random stuff as well, which I actually don't mind because we've had such a structured weekend of rugby, and now this just feels like a chilled out live stream with the lads and the ladesses. But they will go back for the penalty to Italy. I don't think Italy can afford to take 3-pointers here. They have to go for the corner, and they have to try and keep that pressure on the French. And there's not a huge amount of pressure on them at the moment, but Polo Garbisi, if he puts this right in the corner, they will be feeling just that little bit more. That is a good kick about 5 metres out from the try line. So Hurricanes versus Reds next Sunday for the Super Round, which still should not be in Melbourne, just as a bit of a other note. And then Hurricanes Blues in 2 weeks. Hurricanes Crusaders, then Hurricanes Rebel, they'll be right. What's your prediction on winning the Six Nations? At the start, I did predict an Irish Grand Slam. I'll be honest, if Scotland got that victory over France, which some would argue they did, but if they did on paper, it could go down, or could have gone down to the wire. That's going to be the penalty to France. Great defence. Looks like there might be some sort of injury here for Galfiku, not releasing penalty won by Jonathan Dante. It seems no team can touch Ireland, but against the Springboks, it'd be a whole different ball game, says Monet Lagrange. I mean, the last 2 or 3 times that Ireland have played South Africa, they have beaten South Africa, so they are actually still theoretically in that same boat. The only side to beat South Africa throughout that Rugby World Cup was the Irish. And Von de Pont looks happy in the sevens. Says Blues, Nate. Yeah, it's definitely something to get used to, isn't it, the Sevens circuit? And they talk about the fitness aspect of the comp, and it seems like he has got that fitness. They've also had him come off the bench in all of the games rather than starting. So he's going to be a lot more fresh than he may have been in a game of a rugby union. Kicking that one for the touchline French side. Now they have got themselves the line out 40 metres from their own try line. And currently 10 metres inside of their own territory. Malvaka, of course, an absolute beast out there on the field, although he hasn't quite performed in the Six Nations the same way that some expected. The only side to beat Ireland is New Zealand, thanks to Whitelock, says the Black Samoan. Yeah, massive shift from the veteran for New Zealand. But then saying that, like, that is another game that even though New Zealand beat the Irish, like, that could have gone the other way in that contest. We have got there Glasgow Benetton next weekend. Oh, says Kerr. Oh, I've just looked at when it's at 4 a.m. Kerr. The game at 4:05, the Bulls versus the Stormers. If it was at 6, we 100% would have been covering that Benetton Glasgow game. Why do they always do that? They put the good games overlapping with the good games. That happened a little while ago with something else too. I think it was something that I can't remember. But there was something that we wanted to cover. But every time that we wanted to cover it, another game would take place at the same time. Houston, we have a problem. Anyone else having issues? Says Finton. Like just in life in general or on the stream, Finton? Because yes to the first one. Ooh. Possession last 10 minutes, 64% actually in favour of the Italians. After the first 20 minutes has passed by. Looks like that is going to be their scrum again. I'll be honest, France started this one extremely quick. That's the one, Munster Crusaders, yeah. That was really weird that they decided to put that on the same time as a Six Nations fixture. And then, yeah, they probably won't do many more club versus club games from different competitions. And we have got their winner of the Glasgow. Benetton goes second in the table. Bulls will beat the Stormers. Oh, that's a... to be fair, the Bulls are higher, aren't they? Away from home. Oh, penalty. There's a 1. What's your final prediction for Super Rugby Pacific? I think it's going to be Blues versus Hurricanes. Maybe. That would be a great game in terms of kits as well. Just because yellow versus light blue. It's kind of like the games that I play on Rugby Challenge or Rugby 08 way back in the day, just because I like the colours. I'm a very basic man. Ireland have good winning over the Box. They continue to maintain their status, says the Blues, Nate. And that series in South Africa, of course, going to be very intriguing. Pietro Malvaka. Throw this ball in now. I see taking like under 55 points. What is your opinion? Under 55 you should be safe. Because I don't think Italy are scoring a huge amount of points throughout this game. So it's just whether or not the French can get themselves a whole heap of extra points. Kurt Barlow was horrible yesterday. Surprised if he doesn't get dropped. I think that is something as well. Like you talked about La Rochelle in general and how low they are on the table. But I think that their main star performers of yesteryear haven't quite been able to step up in the same regard as they normally would. Plus, I guess they are missing a few of their players to international. That's a crunch and tackle on Cyril Baye's neck. Like Bugara as well, I feel like he hasn't quite been in the best form for this year. That's going to be knocked down. Going back for the original penalty in favour of the French, who are currently still inside of the Italian 22. Gregory Aldred looking on for this game. The Springboks have been beaten twice in Ireland, once in the World Cup, not been beaten in South Africa, says Mona Lagrange. So yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see whether or not the Irish can beat South Africa on home soil, because if they can, and I'm going to just say theoretically, I'm not saying this will happen, but if they were able to beat South Africa twice in South Africa, like at this point in time, is it not almost undisputed? If they're beating them, that would be almost 5 times in a row. And it would also be home and away type thing. But that probably won't happen. I think that South Africa have got at least one of those test matches in them to be able to win. Beaten once in South Africa. I won the other 2 of the 3-match series, I think. I was that terrible team. I mean, I won once in South Africa. And New Zealand have good winning over the Irish. They're continuing maintaining their status, says Alex Moen. Now 10 metres out from the line, it is going to be the scrum feed for the French. They started off this match very quickly, but then it's kind of gone more down to a methodical pace. Just slowly building phases here. And no comments today, just listening, says Bruce. I do apologise, Bruce, because we probably haven't done that much commentary throughout this live stream so far. Although, to be fair, other than those first 5 or so minutes, there hasn't been a lot that's happened for these two sides. It seems to be you build a few phases, then the penalty does end up going against the Italians. That just seems to be the trend. And now the big man, Pelosso Tuolangi. Or Pasolo, I should say. Francois Cru gets a little bit closer to the line. Luku, Crostaiui, Antonio. Now to tackle. I'm still new to work. To rugby. Oh, kicked in a touch. Can you explain how a team will lose the ball when they're about to score? Says Daniel. So pretty much the way that it can happen is, well, there are multiple ways. You can either drop the ball, of course, or if the opposition defender or player gets into the breakdown and gets their hands on the ball, and your your attacking, how's the easiest way of describing it? If your players can't get him off the ball and he got there first, he can win a not releasing penalty, which pretty much means when you're in the breakdown as a rugby player, when you've been tackled, you do have to put the ball to your side so that your team can recycle it. But if you don't let it go because the opposition are putting extra pressure or they've got their hands on the ball, you get done for not releasing the ball, if that makes sense. It's to try and make it a fairer contest in the breakdown and make it so that your forwards have to protect that ball like it was an egg and the defence are like a swooping bird or something, you know? Like, does that make sense? That was terrible descriptions of that. I do apologise. Someone's probably going to tell you it in a lot easier fashion than I just did. I'm dizzy, says Kate. I shouldn't have done the analogy about eggs. I feel like as soon as I added eggs into the equation, we probably lost a lot of people. Now Montejoani tackled early, only 5 metres out from his line. Juan Inesio breaks. Look for the big kick. It's going to be charged down. Now looking for the pass to the outside. Knocked on there from Matthias Lebel. Going back, no advantage for the knock-on. Yeah, more times than not it will involve a knock-on, which is the drop ball. It is almost Easter, says Kerr. I mentioned about it yesterday. There is a video that we haven't released. I don't know why we filmed this video. I think we were just very bored and also very sleep-deprived. But myself and George got sent on an Easter egg hunt around our house. He was dressed as Santa, and I was dressed as Harry Potter. I don't know if that video's coming out this Easter. We might consider it. We'll see. It might only stay up for a very short time and then be deleted off the channel. Just because we will die of embarrassment. Thank you for the explanation, because sometimes I'll be watching a game. It looks like they're about to score, and boom, they lose the ball. Says Daniel. So yeah, normally it will be down to a jackal, as they like to call it, from a defender. Pretty much means they get in the breakdown and they rip it out of the attacking team's hands. It's the Italian wing related to Rico Ioane. Not that I know of, but he's a very good player. Oh, Montejoani. Showing the big man Pasolo Tuolangi certainly stands out. 150 plus kgs. I think he builds in it. And no, says Blues Nate. Off if he's related. 10 points to 0. Moment between these two sides, and g'day from Germany, Says Dar, welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping well. Currently must be afternoon for yourself in Germany. I was about to say Guten Tag, but I don't think that's German. Is Guten Tag Dutch? "27 minutes through scrum feed here for the Italians again. Still only just out from their own try line. So more than likely they need this ball in, then out. And good day in German. I know that was right, says Ta. I think they had a German class at my primary school, which is quite impressive because we didn't, ball strip. We hardly had a class at my primary school. At times, nice run 4 from Jaminet. That's Jalabert, in fact. Now Galficu round the side of the breakdown. Good counter right there from the Italians. Now Maxime Luku goes off the Tuolangi, quick hands. Slinging past from Ramos. Finds Damien Pinot. He's been a little bit quiet throughout the Six Nations competition. In terms of the try scoring and Guten Tag is German, it means good day, says Stefan. And as well, Guten Tag to Utah. Utah? Wow, if you say that fast, it's a US state. I don't know where my brain's going tonight. We're heavily sleep deprived on the Kiwi Lads channel, ladies and gents. Jonathan Dante does get shut down early by Juan Ignacio Brex. Maxime Luku just calling his shots at the moment, getting Francois Crew around the side. Let's get past to Galficu again. They're very close. He's almost just crawling forward there. Galficu, I think he was trying his best not to faceplant. He's done a pretty good job. Now Maxime Luku going off to the right-hand side. Quick hands, Pieter Mavaka knocked on by Jalabert. That is brilliant defense from the Italians. They haven't allowed it to break through. Golden Dag is Dutch. Wait, go Dag, real. The first test between Springboks versus Ireland will be played in Pretoria. It's one of the most intimidating fields you can play rugby, says Amone Lagrange. Speaking to Deutsch, says, cool story, bro. I do not know. Not that I know of. One day, like, if I'm heavily intoxicated, maybe it will just come out. A little bit of Dutch flying off the tip of the tongue. But for now, I don't know it. 29 minutes in, though. Italy won't mind this. I've just realised the scoreboard still says 15. There we go. That's a little bit better. But 3 handling errors apiece. France scoring within the first 5 minutes of this matchup. And since then, only being able to get the 3 points. Italy have spent a majority of this half, though, just out from their own try line. So one little error could lead to France being able to capitalise and get themselves their second try of this first half. But Italy get the penalty at scrum time. Is Afrikaans, says Stefan there. Well, there you go. And Netherlands, Sus Afrikaans, says Gus. Speaking of Afrikaans, South Africa going to be in action a little bit later on today in the sevens. We are going to be covering it on the channel, ladies and gents. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Nice kick towards the touchline from Paolo Garbisi. Let's make sure it goes out and cause an upset Italy, says Blues Nay. I wonder what they are sitting at in terms of chances of winning this game for the Italians. I cannot think it would be any higher than about 5%. They're normally pretty harsh on the underdogs. It's 30 minutes gone and France have managed 10 points. And even then, 7 shouldn't be there. That's actually a very good point. Italy are $26 underdogs, ladies and gents, in this contest. And it looks like it is going to be a free kick now to the Italians, who are $26 underdogs for this match. I feel like they've held their own. They just haven't been able to get an attack going inside of France's 22, whereas a majority of this half has been played inside of Italy's 50 metres of the field. Now, slinging past from Juan Ignacio Brex gets it across to Paulo Garbisi. That is a great kick downfield. Quick throw taken by Damien Pinot. In fact, it's Thomas Ramos. Now running sideways here. Gav starting to open a massive shot being put in. But France defended well. Lebel tackled by Ross Vincent. Jalibert may have taken a bit of a knock, but he is back up to his feet now. Now out wide, Damien Pinot. This is the chance. Chip and chase. He's booted it straight out on the full. He's speaking Dutch. It doesn't sound that good. And yes, Afrikaans is part Dutch. And I was a $26 underdog. And let's face it, France are poo just now. I feel like that's a good way of describing it. They certainly aren't the France that we saw leading into the Rugby World Cup. And I don't know if that's so much because of results at the World Cup. Like that quarterfinal seems like it took a lot out of them. But I don't know if it was so much that they lost the quarterfinal or more so that they lost the quarterfinal on a home soil in a competition that they were so heavily considered as a side that could go all the way because they were at home. And that kind of, I guess, situation can really drain a team. They have been playing the top 14 ever since the World Cup as well. They haven't really had a rest period like Ireland had. And I also have an Afrikaner accent in Dutch. I learned it first. Here's Gus. Nice run forward from Fixture. They just showed the territory in the last 10 minutes has been 100% in favour of France. And missing Antoine Dupont, French look ordinary. Says Blues no, although we've got to remember throughout that Rugby World Cup, they were also missing Antoine Dupont for a few of those contests. But they still didn't do too badly in those ones. So, like, yes, not having Dupont is going to hurt the French. And I don't know whether that's also something to do with it. Maybe some of the French supporters have said, well, if Antoine Dupont's going to ditch this team, why should we support them? And I know that that sounds like pretty, I guess, bitter and a little bit fickle, but that might be the mentality. It's like, I mean, New Zealand. How many All Black supporters, because all the Kiwis have gone overseas, are going to be like, nah, not so much keen, no more G. That wasn't quite a sentence, but that sounded a little bit like something a New Zealander would say. Hey, Hamish, he's the man for France. Says Blues. No, and he even gets like cheered in Vancouver for the Seventh Circuit. Like a lot of people know exactly who that man is. He's going to be going head-to-head with New Zealand later on in the semi-final of the Sevens. We'll be covering that one on the channel as well. Afrikaans was derived from Dutch, and the two languages can be quite different, says Stefan. And there as well. The territory gain of 28 metres. If Italy can score themselves one try here, I'll be honest, they wouldn't be out of this match. Unfortunately, just flopping down in the breakdown there for the Italians, though. So their discipline's probably been hurting them a little bit more in this half than anything else. Alongside, of course, that territory of the French just slowly trying to drown them at the back. Damien Pinot, good attacking run forward. Stefan Shaw, also input from a bunch of different sources. Says Gus, our white Charles Olivan. Tackle made around the ankles. Now Mikel Lamaro gets the ball back. Question is, England keep ball flick around or change again? For what it's worth, I think they should give him time. I agree. I think that it would be too soon to get rid of him. It's like Warren Gatlin. A lot of people remember right at the start, everyone wanted to get rid of him. And to be honest, Wales, I know that they haven't won a game so far in the Six Nations. But, Jalibert might have a really bad ankle injury here. We will keep you updated on that one, of course. What was I just saying? Oh, yeah, Wales aren't playing badly, and they've got such a new side that I think Gatlin's actually steering them a little bit in the right direction. But the losses are going to add up like before they get into some brilliant form. Seems a quarter-final loss against the Springboks hit this French very hard. Says Monet Lagrange. And I don't even think it's so much the fact that it was South Africa. I don't think that really plays a factor in it, because if you wanted to be beaten by anyone, you'd actually want to be beaten by the eventual winner, if that makes sense. So then at least it helps you feel a little bit better about losing to that side. But I think it's just that loss in general. In your country, everyone might be sleeping, but you're awake. It's a good thing, says Sudeep. I mean, it's good in some regards. Not so good as the fact that I've slept very little over the last 3 nights. But somehow I still have energy. So I don't know where that comes from. And Gatlin himself said, if he knew the disaster that Welsh Club Rugby is, he wouldn't have returned. Fairly damning statement. Yeah, there was that situation, I think it was last year, wasn't it? That he was like, nah, it's not good here. We need, because when you look at the player selection pool as well, it's pretty slim for him over there, but he's made it work somehow for Warren Gatland. And I feel like that is something that, needs a lot of credit for him, because I know he gets a lot of stick. All coaches really do, but, he's had a lot of, criticism for still not doing too badly. Don't you do cricket commentary these days? We still do. It's just been the fact that the West Indies have stopped playing. Australia, they had their series up against New Zealand, but a majority of the time we were just watching those games with my family rather than covering it. So, it's one of those ones that some of the games, the big run from Tuolangi gets it off to Ollie Vaughan. There is more cricket coming very soon, though. It's just been the time that the cricket is on as well. It has overlapped with the rugby. I like that tactic from the Italian winger. He saw that his Italian teammate was stuck in the breakdown, so he just grabbed his leg and yanked it so that he was back on side. Around the side, Ramos, Yui Antonio pop passes up to Pietro Malvaca. They're going for the rolling maul. Tuolangi gets held up. Or does he? Referee will probably say it's fine. But nope, they are going to say that it is a goal line dropout. Is game still on, or are they in cruise mode? They're in cruise mode a little bit, although France seem like they're just starting to up the tempo. But something that will be concerning is the fact that Jalibert is now going to be walking, or not walking, he's actually going to be carried off the field with an injured leg. Ankle, I believe, is what it is. No, Italy haven't done too badly so far, says Brian. Yeah, they're going pretty well throughout this first half. Yes, they're down 10-0, but it could have been a lot worse, definitely with the way that France started. And they are still looking to kick this for the corner. It's going to be Mofana making his way onto the field. I believe that means that we're going to see, I think that it would be Thomas Ramos go to fly half, maybe. You're going to have a real reshuffle here in this French backline, hoping Italy can get points on the board for heading into the sheds. Yeah, if they can get a try here, they are well and truly in this game. But they're currently 5 metres out from their own line, and the rolling maul of France is about to start marching. It's getting a little bit closer. Well defended by Italy so far. It's gone down now. They're being told that they're not allowed to try and keep that ball in there. Therefore, Maxime Luku. There's more to this French slump than the loss to the Bok in the World Cup. They've lost 2 of their coaches, and there are rumours of a rift between the coach and the players. Says Sam. I did hear a little rumour about Galtier and his team. It seems to be, like you said, behind closed doors, something's not a happy environment for this French side, and a little bit similar to what we saw between Eddie Jones and Australia. There was a moment after a game when the rumours were going around that Eddie Jones was going to be heading to Japan. And during that time, Eddie Jones was going, nah, mate, I didn't do nothing like that, mate. I didn't have any interviews, which he did. But there was a patch where Sonny Bill Williams said it best. As a player, why should you play for a coach if your coach isn't going to play for you or isn't going to stick around for your team? So maybe that's the same for the French. Maybe they're in that scenario of Galtier's annoyed the players and they've gone, well, we're not going to make your record look good. We're going out there and we're going to try and play our own game of rugby, even if you tell us otherwise. There might just be a bit of tension between them. And Ireland will continue to maintain their status come July test matches. Held up, I hope Italy aren't nilled again. Says Brian, has happened to the French team before and they've imploded, says Sam. But yeah, passing out wide, just not quite getting that one back in. Damien Pinot is not too happy. I think Mofana was the one who knocked that ball on. Italy are defending very well. They are just out from their own line. A lot of sides up against France would be intimidated where they are on the field and be very worried that they're only one little moment away from conceding. But Italy, you would think that they are defending on the halfway line. They just seem to be able to get there, make those tackles. I mean, Pasolo Tuolangi almost went through. But, yeah, that next tackle was still made by the Italians. I think their defensive stat will be very impressive throughout this first half. Now 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. Once again, Italy find themselves 10 metres out from their try line. Nothing new for this first half of the contest. Now trying to break off the back. It is the big number 8. Francois Cruz. Trying to get that ball. Penalty advantage to the Italians. And they have won the penalty. Quick tap taken. That is something you'd see in the 7 side of things rather than straight away. That is going to be a new advantage. And another penalty won by the Italians. This time the ball thrown away by Mo Farah. He said, "You're not doing that again. Stop quick tapping the ball. We want to rest." And off the feet for the French. I think RBC will be kicking this one towards the touchline. Francois Cruz, the man penalised there in the breakdown. And Italy will take more positive from the first half. Yeah, like France started this half quick, which was a benefit. But they haven't been able to do much with it aside from starting quick. Now, they got those 3 points. Italy, they have, I'll be honest, they've defended probably the best that we've seen them defend throughout this Six Nations competition. But the sad thing is, it could end up being a little bit like Ireland and Wales' game. And that involved Wales, I thought, doing very well to stop Ireland from getting the bonus point up until that final moment when they still managed to get it. Nice attack and run from Juan Inacio Brex. And back across the right-hand side. Looks like there might be a bit of an injury in back play here for the Italians. He's not looking too flash at the moment. Big run forward from Paolo Garbisi. Charles Olivon asking for some sort of penalty, but currently on the halfway line, or in fact building into the half of the French here. Italy again, Pedrello gets it up to Fischetti, quick hands to Monte Ioane, look for the offload, quick hands again from Italy. Almost going through for one, Inacio Brex. Now off to the right hand side, Ioane just keeps it in the field of play. Looks like he might have almost dropped that ball too. Back to the left hand side here for the Italians, and dropped off as quick as it started, says Kerr. It kind of fizzled out after that first try, and when they went for the 3 points afterwards, that kind of made me a bit confused because it seemed like France wanted to stay scoring a lot of tries. Quick hands, beautifully done for the Italians. Down the wing, Minincello was waiting for it, but Federico Mori hangs on to it himself, and there's just a little knock on from the Italians in the midfield. It'll be the end of the first half, and it is 10 points to 0. Oh, hang on. They're going upstairs. Now, I believe this is for the, it was the Italian player who stayed down a little bit. I mentioned about it, how much sleep did you get in? I got like 2.5 hours, I think, which is actually more than I've got over the last 2 days. Yeah, Jonathan Dante hit him a little bit high. Nah, that's head on head. If the ruling is the same as it has been, it's probably going to be a yellow card for Jonathan Dante, although that angle doesn't look as bad. So it's going to meet the yellow card threshold. Jonathan Dante is going to be off the field now. Number 12. Making his way from the field. How much sleep? Oh no, I read that one. And the way Ireland have been playing, it's almost like a failure if they don't get the bonus points, says Brian. And that's why for Wales it would have been such an impressive game if they had stopped it. Because they weren't really in that contest, other than when that yellow card came for the Irish of Tyburn early on in that second half. But other than that, they just didn't quite get there. Oh, Italy taking on the 3 points. I don't know if I like that. I can understand why they've done it, but if this kick misses, I would have liked to think that maybe a kick for the corner might have been more substantial. Penalty try for sure, says Guerin. They're just talking about whether or not that card will be upgraded for Jonathan Dante, and not having him in that back line for France would be a massive game changer in this match for them. Like they said, no mitigation. Jonathan Dante, he went in too high. At the end of the day, he hasn't ducked at the hips. So if it is upgraded to a red, he doesn't really have anyone to blame but himself. I am showing everyone, Says Michaela, welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. Once again, we are going to be back for the sevens as well later on, I should mention. So anyone who is keen on a bit of sevens, the first game we are covering is at 8:21 a.m. New Zealand time. That is going to be South Africa taking on the Australians. But that kick is just sneaking over. It came back. It looked like it was going to hit the post. But at halftime in this contest, ladies and gentlemen, it is 10 points to 3. I don't think it will be upgraded. No ducking, so maybe. Yeah, you can't really afford to give the TMO, I guess, firepower, if that makes sense. Like, if he had ducked down, but there was still head contact, then maybe they'd be like, meh. But the biggest problem for Jonathan Dante there is not just the fact that he didn't duck. It's the fact that he flew in from so far back, full steam ahead, bang. And if he had just done it when he was jogging in, probably a yellow. But with the way that the rules are, you just never quite know whether or not that's going to get upgraded or not. But Italy are actually now considered as $12 underdogs in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting. Seems like maybe they aren't as out of this game as some people did first anticipate. We have good there. The 3 points could be a morale booster. Going into halftime, says Stefan. And I'll say, hey man, big hug, hope you're doing very well. Oh, in fact, they've actually dropped to $11 now, I believe, if I am correct. And also, I don't mind 3 points in this situation. Still another half, says Mikhail. That is true. And I guess it just gives them some sort of reprieve in this game. Brian O'Driscoll interview said Ireland lucky to have that scoreline against a very poor Wales. Score didn't reflect the game. Says Kerr. Yeah, see, I feel like Wales, their defence I don't think was too bad. Is Luku slow, or is it just me? He's struggling a bit, but then saying that when you're comparing him to Antoine Dupont, like everyone looks slow, don't they, theoretically? But the ruck speed of the French has actually been pretty good throughout this half. The problem has been, it's been when Luku's not there. It's been when the forwards have been going around the side. Yes, didn't feel like a 31 points to 7 win, but encouraging that even playing badly, they get the 5-point win, says Brian. Yeah, someone said about it on the stream yesterday as well. They said pretty much like they weren't happy with the Irish performance, but to still get 5 points, like that's all you can really ask for. Like the players, they'll feel like they really had to dig deep to be able to get themselves those 5 points. Just a one try scorer in this match at this stage, and even that one I am putting in quotations. That was Charles Olivon on the try line earlier on in this game. So far we've seen 112 tackles made by the Italians. Just shows that their defence, even though it's been put under immense pressure, has so far been able to, I guess, hang on. Italy, 3% chance of winning according to the live win probability. I'd have it a little bit higher than that. I feel like that first half, even though they are down by 7, it would have been pretty encouraging for them. France beating 22 defenders. That's a stat that the Italians will not enjoy. But France have had 12 handling errors. So that is something that has been hurting their chances of going through. 8 penalties against the Italians compared to the 6 of the French. We've just seen that one yellow card, though. That was Jonathan Dante's. It was for the head-on-head contact. So we have to wait to see, of course, if that is going to be upgraded. And can Italy beat a 14-man France? If it's a red, I'm going to be bold. And I know that I shouldn't be this bold, but I would say yes. Like, if France, in the nicest way possible, like, if they don't sort out what's going wrong, which is the handling at the moment, and also just the decision-making, if they don't sort that out, this Italy team, if they can get an attack and score an early try in the second half, they're well and truly in this game. And I think that would be a massive, massive boost to the Italian confidence. The thing is, though, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking France is still going to win this game by, let's say, 10 points. So then Italy walk away from this game with 0 points rather than the deserved, I would say, 1 point at least that they would want to get. Something's got to give. Hope floats. Says, cool story, bro. And I was working there very welcome, Mikael. I mentioned it. And it's 3-3 at halftime, says Kerr. Yeah, I'm still confused at how like the on-field decision was try, so I guess that has a lot more power in it than we first anticipated. Like I knew that referee's call normally gets a little bit of a say, but like there was nothing there for me that showed that it was a clear and obvious grounding or even a grounding other than after when Olivon got up. But that seemed to be a long time afterwards type thing. So I don't think that is when they could have judged it. And not even a bunch of free pizza. Ellie will not be interested. Oh, I love a pizza right now. I've been at the moment over this weekend. I think I've lived off pretty much shoestring fries and up and goes. Not a good diet, I'll be honest. But then saying that, at the wedding, I did have a few other things as well. They had this like snack bar that was just lollies or sweets, depending on whereabouts you are, and like chocolate fish and whatnot. I hadn't had a chocolate fish in like 10 years. And then I ate like 7 chocolate fish. But yeah, not a lot of substantial food. I have to have like a salad or something at some point just to feel like I've eaten something good. I'm currently eating chicken tenders. Bloody love me some chicken tenders. I'd assume it's on the boat, Kerr. I think. Maybe. Are the chicken tenders that you get ordered to a room? Can you order to? Yeah, you can order to a room on a cruise ship, can't you? But like, are they different to the ones that they have in the buffet? They would be, wouldn't they? I couldn't believe how many things there were at that buffet. Like a buffet on a cruise ship just sounds like such a strange thing to say, but it's very impressive. I just dropped a watch. I don't know why I was holding a watch. Chocolate fish, you make me homesick. Says Ta, and I always enjoy the pizza. No, I don't have any pizza though. That's the sad thing. Hey, yep, you lot are in bed. You lot are in bed with me and my meat. I had to read that twice. Up and go banana. No, it was just vanilla. No offense, that's not the kind of diet. Stay awake, you are a bull, says Mikhail. Yeah, I feel like the food that I've had has given me no energy whatsoever, so I don't know why I still have energy. But we're still awake, which I think is a good start. Now I want chicken tenders and pizza. I feel like you've got the dream combo, Kerr. Chicken tenders on pizza. I think that they did that at one point here in New Zealand. Maybe not chicken tenders per se, but like chunks of chicken, like big chunks, were on the pizza. But second half just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen, from this one getting underway. If you are new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got the 7s later on tonight, or today. We have got another 7 streams for the 7s that we are going to be doing on the channel. And then that is all for the weekend. And turkey breast and curry rice, turkey and turkey, says Brian. And there as well. Yeah, good chicken pizza would go very well at the moment. But it's currently 5 a.m, so there's no pizza place open. It sounds to me as though you need a nice medium rare ribeye steak, unless you are vegan. I am certainly not a vegan. I eat chicken all the time. Sorry, vegans, but it's very, very good. I'll probably get some chicken later today. Just cook it up. I feel like I'm saying everything that people think when they wake up at 5 a.m. a little bit hungry. You know when you have those like random patches in the middle of the night when you wake up and you're like, I'm going to make a pizza or I'm going to cook something later on and it's going to be real good. And then you get up and then you can't be bothered. So you just have like something like a bag of chips. Just showing the Argentina versus Fiji game of the 7s. Of course, Argentina's still alive. They are going to be taking on the USA and the Vancouver 7s for the semi-final. The other side of the draw, New Zealand versus France. Could be an interesting one, seeing Antoine Dupont go head-to-head with the Kiwis for the first time on the 7th circuit. Argentina currently looking to increase their winning streak that they have created on the 7th circuit as well. Nuggets with cheese whiz. Okay, that is something I've never tried. I don't even know if we can get cheese whiz over here. That's like cheese in a can, isn't it? That you're like, and then you just right on the chicken nugget? Interesting. I've never thought while eating a chicken nugget, this needs cheese. but maybe it does. And USA look good, so we should respect and play with all we've got, says Mikhail. And there's, the USA, they had a very good game up against Great Britain. So as long as Argentina don't underestimate what the USA can do, I'll be honest, the USA, they aren't a team that in my head, I think, they'll end that winning streak of the Argentines, but they could. And that is the unpredictability of sevens. That game taking place at 9:43 a.m. New Zealand time. So in about 5 hours time or so, when that one will take place. Second half of this game just around the corner. I don't think we've seen anywhere near enough of few of these Italian backs. We saw Monte Ioane touch the ball maybe once or twice. Monticello out on the other wing. I'd like to see more of him. And also Capuzzo. There's been a lot of tackles being made by the Italians though, but they have got the man advantage for the next 10 minutes or so of this game after Jonathan Dante has been taken off the field for a yellow card. Now, that could be increased to to red card, injected in it with the nozzle. How big are the chicken nuggets in the US, Robert? Because, if you're talking McDonald's nuggets, right, over here, they've gotten smaller and smaller. They're probably, that big now, if not maybe a little bit smaller, like that, somewhere around that size for a chicken nugget. So, to be able to insert a nozzle and squeeze, I don't think we'd have enough room in a New Zealand chicken nugget. And tuna with boiled egg, only lettuce and onion, a whole wheat toast, no butter, no mayo. Says Cool Story Bro. And yes, says Robert. And there as well. I should also mention, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone wondering about what is happening next weekend in terms of the channel and streams, no Six Nations due to the week that they are having off, but we have got the LA Sevens, we've got the Super Rugby, and we've got the URC. So pretty much the same amount that we did this weekend, we will be doing next weekend, plus maybe even a little bit more. It's going to be a hectic time on the channel, but if you guys are new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I would say the second half is only a matter of moments away from starting. I see whether or not the French can run away with this, or if the Italians can keep it close. And golf ball size, I'd say maybe about a goal. A little bit bigger than a golf ball, I would say. Although if you if you had a golf ball and you went and squatted it or squashed it down, I would actually say probably. I don't know where that golf ball's come from. I don't recognise the brand. Oh, fell on the ground. And oats, no milk, no sugar, says Gold Story Bro. And I do it, says Robert. It probably tastes good, to be fair. It's just something that I haven't actually tried. And one ostrich egg can feed a family of 5, says Brian. I don't know if I'd ever eat an ostrich egg. Not nothing against ostriches, but I don't know. I feel like there's just so much goo, and of course you cook it to the point where there's no goo, but it's just so big. What a sportsman. He has everything in the back, says Mikhail. Yeah, there's quite a few random things sitting over here. Cricket ball, also there. What else we got? We got desktop rugby, little game, which involves miniature goalposts. Set of these little rugby boots that you put on your hand, and you flick a inflatable ball or a little foam ball. I don't know why I bought it. You need a huge pot to boil it though, says Brian. I can imagine that an ostrich egg would take a fair while to get it boiling and to get it cooked through. Just imagine half cooking it and then banging it, well not banging it, but opening it up and then realizing, it's still raw in the middle. But not like a runny yolk, like an actual, there's still the white isn't cooked. I love that, I want that, it's perfect for drinking games, says Mikhail. Now France going to be making their way back out of the tunnel. Good ammo for the next spot. Oh, that's an idea. Green beans, boiled chicken breast, says Cool Story Bro. I feel, is this your daily intake, Cool Story Bro, or is this your recommendation of good food Ostrich meat is pretty good. Is it similar to chicken, Stefan, or is it a bit gamier? Because I'd imagine that an ostrich... What part of the ostrich would you eat? Because I know that their legs, they'll be quite dark meat. Normally the darker the meat of a chicken, the more that it's used those appendages. But like, what part of a chicken? Oh, okay. Jonathan Dante has had his yellow card upgraded to a red. So they are now going to be 14 men on the field, France, for the second 40 minutes. That could help the Italians, who are now sitting $7 underdogs. Vegetables taste like sad. I'd agree with you. Like vegetables, I've always been one that would eat them if I had to because I know that they're supposed to be good for you. But like I don't eat them for the taste. I don't think some people probably do. George loves a parsnip at the moment. The man, I watched him around Christmas time. He'd eat 10 of them just like they were nothing. But then they were roasted parsnips, so I feel like he actually liked the kind of crispy side of the parsnip rather than just like a boiled one. Better than that watermelon in your last video. Oh, that made me cringe so badly. That watermelon. And if it doesn't have parents, I won't eat it. I shouldn't laugh, but my brain went in the completely wrong direction for that one. Pedrello partially charged. So I think that should be an Italian line out. It's not a 50-22 because it was taken back, but I heard it hit a man's hand, didn't it? Did it not get partially charged out? Maybe it didn't. Depends if you have a good combination. Some olive oil and some cheese, it's perfect. And the meat is lean, as with all venison. But pretty tasty red meat. Tastes close to beef. Oh, okay. So it's actually more like a beef than a chicken in that regard. Interesting. Gem squash, butternut, no salt, no nothing. Says, cool story, bro, but now thrown in by Pietro Malvaca. They are just out from their own try line here, the French. In a similar situation, all that's going to be the penalty going against the Italians. 38 minutes remaining. It's going to feel like a long time for France if they don't start scoring points soon. I think that was for playing the arm of the jumper. Kick's going into Dutch. It will be about 42 metres from the try line. Being their own, that is. Still another 58 metres to go. Yeah, just pulling down that arm. Well spotted by the referee. But now, 40 metres from their line. Pietro Malvaca. It's the throw in nicely taken again by Brilliant. Now they start to get their rolling ball flowing. Although France did start the first half well. We've got to remember that there is still plenty of time remaining. Be kicked downfield. And Capuzio will return fire with a kick of his own. It hasn't found touch though. Now chance here for Matisse Labelle. Thrown straight through a gap. Taken down initially by Juan Inacio Brix before he found the offload. Juan Ramos gets the 25 metres out. That looked a little bit high from Tuolangi with the clean out on Danilo Fischetti. Don't think the referee's going to have another look at it though. Now Luku goes across to Charles Olivon. Taken down again. That's going to be the penalty to the French. Illegally playing that ball, Federico Rusa. And we have got there, if the Italians win, they'll declare a national holiday and broccoli or cauliflower covered in cheese. Delicious. See, I've never tried broccoli covered in cheese. I've tried cauliflower covered in cheese back in the day, but not broccoli. I have to try it. Have you guys tried a purple cauliflower? They have those at the local supermarket. I'm scared to try one. And fish, not battered, not crumb, not nothing. That's it. That's everything. Now you're ready for your late 30s onwards. Says, cool story, bro. We have got Daniel Harvey Chu, and I want to oil you up. Says Sifo. Well, all you got to do is ask. We have got their big Irish fry up. Says Karma Pitch. I'll be honest, I've never wanted to go get like a big breakfast more than right now. But it's 5 a.m, so nowhere would be open, and nowhere will be open till probably like 9 or 10 here in New Zealand, which is when the 7 starts. Never seen a purple one. Says Macau, but the kick is good from Ramos. And broccoli, cauliflower, boiled, no cheese. If you have the choice between meat or vegetables, and you pick veg, you need locked up. Therefore, logic says nobody chooses vegetables. They feel obligated. That probably describes what I see pretty well as well. How I was like, I'll eat it because I think it's good for me. And it is supposed to, like, vegetables are good for you, of course. It's just like, if you have something else that's available, I'll take that. It's like you've got the chicken tenders and pizza. If they're like, hello, sir, would you like a nice green salad with that? You'd say, no, just give me the pizza and the chicken tenders, thank you. And no one would judge you for it, other than the ones who do love vegetables. Currently 45 minutes through. Nicotera now. We're throwing this ball in for the Italians, nicely claimed. They need to score a try here soon, as they are sitting 13 points to 3 down. 10 points difference. France may start kicking for penalties now. That ball has gone into touch. Just a little bit of a mistake from Italy. Favoretto unable to claim it. Last time France is going for a Grand Slam, they got beaten by Italy. Well, there you go. That is a stat and a half, isn't it? Do you remember what year that was, Martin? Out of curiosity, I dream of KFC and pizza. It's a fantasy now. I'll be honest, my stomach started rumbling about 5 minutes ago when we were talking about the food. See, the problem is both things that you've listed is a 30-minute drive there and then a 30-minute drive back. And I am half asleep. So I probably can't get it, unfortunately. Now off to the left-hand side. It's going to be Favoretto again. Now Pedrello, Garbisi. Nice inside ball. After one Inesio breaks. A bit of a counter-ruck attempted from Cruz. He doesn't get through. Federico Russa getting driven towards the touchline. France still trying to get any chance of turning over the ball. They're actually rushing up quite a bit, which could leave gaps. So playing with Hamish Mind Chat. Now we need him, says Mikhail. Turnover was almost there. Pedrello keeps it on the side of the Italians. Now Canoni has to play a halfback. Back almost into the pocket there for Garbisi. Breaks, charges forward, and Olivon. He lost his footing. Isn't able to contest little kick him behind. It is chipped forward. Does it sit up? 4 minute do it does not. And just goes too far. It was a while ago now, not sure of the year. Says Martin. Manoncello, he's actually very strategically booted that one forward when the defence was rushing, including the fullback. Left the gap in the back. Talfa Fanua now making his way onto the field. I wonder if that is going to be for Tuolangi. Yeah, it is. Tuolangi now going to be taken off the field. He's had a pretty decent game. Pusolo, sorry. Tuolangi for his first international start for France. Outside of the under-19s. Now on the halfway line, Italy trying to make as many meters as physically possible. Oh, a little bit of push and shove happening out there on the field as well. 2 mishandled situations for Garbisi as well as Capuzio, but they managed to get it back. And Garbisi, has he got the 50-22 there? It may have been taken back. The Greedy Cow Cafe opens at 7:30 a.m. The Greedy Cow Cafe, is that nearby me? I don't think it is. We've got like a dairy. A dairy might be open. Yeah, dairy's open at the moment. It must open at 5 a.m. But I don't think they do food until like maybe 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. somewhere around there. 48 minutes through. Italians, if there is ever a time to get back into it, it is very soon, because as soon as they allow the French to score one more try, I'd say they'll almost be done and dusted. Garrick has made his way onto the field. Same with Taufifenua. Quite a few changes have already been made by this French side. They're trying to empty their bench relatively early. We saw Jalibert replaced by Mofana in the first half. That kick is out on the full. Well watched by Monte Ioane. Straight out from Legaric, who has only just made his way onto the field. He'll need to be more patient, says Brian there. And that's the thing. They put together, I think it was about 11 or 12 phases in that first half. And it did look very, I guess, competitive with this French side. Just need to make sure they are timing it well in terms of when to go for that elusive play. Because eventually they like to go for something special, don't they, the Italians? Whether it's a little grubber behind or a chip to be able to run onto. Called as a rolling maul here. A march their way forward. Nice stepping from Fischetti. Favoretto has been taken off the field and Zulianu makes his way on for the Italians. I think that is actually their first change that they had decided to make. Penalty won by Roman Taufifenua. He actually was looking up at the ref as if he was being penalised for a start. He heard the whistle. Is that a sign of a player who maybe got lucky to get a penalty in his favour when he straight away went like that, as if to say, it wasn't me, ref? Like they have just said, if Dupont was playing and they had this much possession and territory, he would have been well and truly in his element. Maxime Luku just hasn't quite been able to step up to that next level. Taufifenua giving a pat on someone's back as well. That was Zuliani. Now, big throw to the back from Huri Mochon. Looping around. But has missed the passing opportunity. I thought it may have been close to a knock-on from the Italians. So the advantage was in favour for the French for half a moment. Now moving up to the 22. That is a brilliant leg drive from Marchand. It's already had a real impact since making his way onto the field. But Roman Taufifenua was a loose carry. And now Fischetti has got the ball back for the Italians. There are 3 French players joining the breakdown. None of which are able to get that ball. It was the final match in Italy. France had already beaten everyone. So does that mean France still won the Six Nations, Martin? It was just they didn't get the Grand Slam for that year? Do let me know. They are going back for the original scrum, though. Was initially there for the Italians. So anyone who doesn't know, we've got the sevens later on today. The first match is going to be at 8:21 a.m. New Zealand time, which is in 3 hours' time. That is going to be the match between South Africa and Australia. Then the semi-final, the first one, is at 9:43 a.m. Second semi-final at 10:05 a.m. And then we've got Samoa versus Great Britain and Fiji versus Ireland to take us through to around 12:15 p.m. New Zealand time. And after that, we've got 2 more matches. And then after that, I think I'm actually filming a podcast. So sleep is a little way away. At the moment, probably about maybe 17 hours from the sleeping patch. Front rows have gone down in the scrum. Jonathan Dante is standing in the tunnel. Of course, he did receive a red card. Now, I believe the rule is he's not allowed to go back out next to the game, but he's allowed to watch from the tunnel. Jonathan Dante. So he's keeping an eye on his side. Of course, anything that happens from here, some will put the blame. Which podcast? It is the rugby recap, the one with myself and Tim. We'll be doing a bit of a recap of all the weekend of rugby that we've seen. Well, Six Nations, but thought they would win by right. Mistake, says Martin. Well, that's the thing. Up against an Italian side, you never quite know what you're going to get. And now, with the, I guess, progression of Benetton and what they've been able to do, are you filming a podcast with who? Tim, Rugby Itch. Some of you guys will know him. After the stream, go get yourself an English breakfast. I'm a little bit keen Although it might be a bit early for them to start cooking as of yet. So what I might end up doing is maybe around lunchtime I might go get something. Yeah, because there's not a lot of time in between my next 2 live streams. It's under an hour, I believe. So it'll make it a little bit hard to get food in that time. I can still try. Be worth a crack. All available now. Oh, good contact made on the French number 20. He's had that much contact. He's actually fallen the wrong way. Put the ball onto the side of the Italians. Do we think this is the most boring game in the Six Nations so far? No. It almost set up for France, though. Hopefully we see a couple more tries throughout the second half. That is what I'll say, because, or else, yeah. You need some rest, though, with a full belly, says Mikal. And yeah, instead we would be doing streams, back to back to back to back. Seems like a good idea. It would be nice to see Rugby Itch again, says Monet Lagrange. So yeah, that will be going up on the Rugby Recap channel. Of course, going to be kicked downfield. We will have to get him on for a post-match interview at some stage. France on the halfway line. Damien Pinot gets the inside ball away to Mofana. Goes straight over the top of the man in front of him. Now back across the right-hand side. Thomas Ramos, inside ball. Nice bit of work, Aldiegri. France, this looks like their best chance of scoring so far in this half. 15 minutes. Oh, they've given away the penalty. And Italy managed to stop the French momentum in off their feet. Where is George? I think it's been 4 or 5 months since I saw him, says Kerr. It's been a long time since he's been on a stream, hasn't it? We've been doing videos on the entertainment channel. We actually reacted to a video of Scottish people being Scottish, Kerr, fun fact. So you might enjoy that one, or you might also not, because you probably... I don't think you'll get offended. I don't think we said anything against Scottish people, but they're a funny bunch, of course. Are you eating healthy to be better at cricket? So ever since I started eating healthier, my cricket's got a way lot worse. I'll be honest. Like, I was better when I just showed up on a Saturday and played, and then went to training, and that was it. Now that I try and overthink everything, my scores have gone down badly. Like, I'm struggling to reach double figures in games now. Whereas earlier on in the season, I was getting decent numbers. Now back across the right-hand side. And behind, Juan Ignacio Briggs gets it away to Montejuani. I'm still trying to work out this Italy-France thing. I can only think of Italy winning twice, 2011 and 2013. France didn't win either year, says Kerr. Oh, okay, so you're trying to play detective. And you might be right in that regard. I still remember that game, Scotland versus France, when Doolan made the mistake late, and that was France defeated by Scotland in the final moments. Your skin looks great though, says Cool Story Bro. Trust me, it's not at the moment. Like, the camera might be saving me big time. Ever since a few days ago, like, it's been pretty bad. Like, I got like all that going on. Not ideal, but hopefully it comes right before the weekend. I wonder what Rugby Itch Springboks team would look like, says Monet Lagrange. I think he'd have a couple young guys in there, I'd say. I can't find it either, but I thought I remembered it. False memory, maybe, says Brian. He said it was a while ago, so is that like ages and ages ago, or is that more recently, like that 2010s-ish era? Now France with another scrum. Two sides, they've had a bit of a seesaw, but no one's really going up. You know when you're on the seesaw with someone who weighs the exact same as yourself and you just don't go anywhere? Oh, Italy get themselves another scrum penalty. Maybe blue shirt confusion, says Michaela there. Not driving straight. Penalty goes against Aldiegri. Jonathan Dante has gone back to sit with his teammates. Now Apollo Garbisi able to kick this one towards the touchline. Italy are back to $18 underdogs, but if they can score now, they'd be back in it. It's not easy though up against this French defence. I've not had a chance to look, too busy with pizza. But yeah, can't remember it myself. Too busy with pizza is definitely not a bad thing. Now I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Must be allergic to pizza. Or the thought of other people eating pizza without me. Now, Varney passing off to the left-hand side. Juan Inacio Brex. After Ireland's 36-0 win, I thought France would go out for a huge win. I thought so, but I mean, in the Rugby World Cup, I can't remember how this game between these two sides went, but I think it was a little bit closer than some actually expected for that one too. A little bit of a loose ball there. Well cleaned up though by Paolo Garbisi. Being put under pressure, his hands were straight down, ref. Penalty goes the way of the Italians. You know, I do not call story, bro. And never a bad thing if a piece of pizza is there with you. And they may be joint, or may have been joint top, they would have won the Grand Slam, says Martin. As well, right, they're calling for the shot. I don't like, this will get them within 7. So I guess that's one good thing for the Italians. They're just going to need a couple tries in the near future. I know 2013 France got wooden spoon. That's one of the times they lost to Italy, says Kerr. See there that there was a bit of an interesting play off the back of the rolling maul. The Italian player just running without the ball, trying to lure in the French defence. I think the only one lured in was Julio Malchon. Now Paolo Garbisi to line up this kick again. Kicking at 100% so far today. This one has to go straight down the middle, and it certainly does. So now makes the score 13 points to 6. Chance of a draw slowly increasing more and more as well for these two sides. Like they've said, now within 7. This is their chance. Still 20 minutes remaining. I think we're going to be in for a last-minute thriller, I hope. That is, of course, unless Italy do something silly that ends up with them losing the ball. I think France demolished Italy in the World Cup, 60 points to 7. Oh, it was their game up against Uruguay, wasn't it? That they were a lot closer. I think they won 27 points to 13. Another penalty, not rolling away, goes against France. Unfortunately, when you start giving away one penalty, referee starts picking up a few of the other things that you have been doing wrong, and that discipline can just run into extremely hard thing to break. Tackles made, Lamato has made 17, Nicotera 16, Vincent 15, Canoni 13, Ruza 13. There have been a lot of work rates that have been through the roof for the Italians in this contest. Hi guys, says 123 MS, welcome in mate. In 2011 was only other time they lost to Italy. If I remember right, they lost to England as well. England won, says Kerr, and since 2000, Italy just won just in 2011 and 2013, says Mikhail there. Going to the front, Italy, loose ball. Varney has been able to clean it up. Now going off to the right-hand side, they have got numbers here for the Italians. Ange Capuzzo stepping nicely inside Monte Ioane, who went on the outside. Capuzzo almost ended up playing the ball on the ground. Could have been an accidental offside, but there was already a knock-on from the French. It looks like a draw. Could be a good bet, says Morin Lagrange. Now looping around the back. Oh, that's a knock-on. Referee missed it, though, because he slipped over, but the touch judge saw it. Christophe Ridley smiling at his assistant referee as he was trying to not fall over. And 22-21 and 23-18. What time are the South African Sevens playing Australia, says Barry. So it is at 8:21 a.m. New Zealand time. So depending on whereabouts you are in the world, Barry, if you're in the UK or in South Africa, that will be at 9:21 p.m. but pretty much just under 3 hours time. 2 hours and 53 minutes is when that next one is going to be taking place. Celucci has been taken off the field for Simeone Ferrari. That is the only change that the Italians have made there. And yep, I know I was twice as sure in those years. We have got there definitely no Grand Slam stopper. Sorry, Martin. A mistaken memory. Says Graham. Thanks, says Barry. No worries. And we are going to be covering it, of course, on the channel. One moment. We're about to sneeze as well. We are good. They did in the last game, 28-19, I think. Says Brian. I think Georgia can beat the Italians on a good day. Yeah, I'd agree. I feel like there are a lot of these European sides that can beat some of the top opposition. I mean, Portugal. They were a team that looked like they were really coming along in the Rugby World Cup, but then they actually lost to, I think it was Belgium or someone, one of the lowest, or it was considered as the biggest international rugby upset or something in terms of the top 25 or top 20 teams in terms of rankings or something along those lines, I think I saw. My life is as good as the Italian rugby team, but I mean, I have friends who are as good as Afghanistan's rugby team. Says, good story, bro. Now 15 minutes left on the clock now, and the Italians still in possession and starting to find a bit of a gap opening up here on the left-hand side. Monty Ioane carving inwards, gets the pass away to Manoncello. Oh, Puzio has to play halfback, flat attacking run forward, great hands from, I believe it was Niccolò Cannoni. Keep that one alive for the Italians. They have got a lot of dummy runners. Seems like France at the moment are predicting it pretty well. Manoncello taken down on the far side of the field. Now Varney slings it back across to Garbisi. To the left now for the Italians. It's a knock on there from France. Ligeric hasn't been able to hang on to it. Maybe it wasn't Portugal's strongest possible team, says Monet Lagrange. And they're in 2011, says Kerr. And there as well. Sounds like there is going to be a substitution being made for the Italians. 65 minutes in. They're still in this game, ladies and gents. Like, well and truly in this game. 14 minutes. Can they hang on? One thing's for sure, though. We're not going to see France get the bonus point. Although, something that I said earlier on that I feel like could end up being a factor. I said that France, if they win this game, they'll probably win it by 10. And then the Italians wouldn't receive a bonus point if that is the case. And I think with the way that they've played here, they more than deserve one. So it would be a shame to see them miss out. Deliberate knock on. Not in that case. He did have two hands to it. It just ended up falling out of the hands afterwards. Now Charles Olivon taken off the field. Sharp memory, says Mikhail. There as well. Olivon is off, and Nabadi has made his way onto the field. And no, not deliberate, says O'Brien. Stephen Varney to put the ball in now for the Italians. This is the type of moment that could change this Italian Six Nations campaign for the better. Because if they beat France, they will actually overtake France on the points table unless the points differential is too poor for Italy, which I think it might be. So if France are within 7, I think they'll just stay there. At 11-13, what was that result? Says, I was there from Kerr. And maybe Six Nations Division 2 without promotion and demotion. Says a 1-2-3 MS. Yeah, there's big question marks about where the teams are going to go. Oh, a penalty to France. That is a massive, massive one to win. They're only about 35 metres out from their own try line. See there, Simeone Ferrari getting that one wrong. And yeah, I was sure Italy pushed them close. Second half possession, 61% in favour of the Italians. So a lot of people would argue that they've actually had the better of the second half. Both sides scoring 3 points here. But 13 minutes remaining now on the clock. Simone Ferrari just going down and then getting back up to push harder. Now William Marchand throws that ball in, nicely taken by the I almost said the Samoans, but by the French, of course, that dark blue kit. Same as the Samoans in the 7th circuit. They will be playing up against Great Britain just a little bit later on. And the morning, big rolling maul here though. Committing about 7 of their forwards and continuing to join from the back and push that little bit closer to the 22. I think William Marchand may have taken a bit of a knock on the back of his head. It's not looked too flash. And they have been told to use it. They weren't able to get it out, so the Italians will get themselves the scrum. Year 2013 was a weird year. I think we saw actually 2 injuries for France. One for William Marchand and also one for Dorian Aldieri. Are you okay? Says Christoph Ridley. Well, this will be a good scrum, I would think, for the Italians, because we have seen 2. In fact, we've seen 2 of the front row go down with a little bit of an injury. And we saw there Sebastian Taufifenua. He had his hands on his knees bent over, pretty much just sucking for air. That was very bad wording. But you guys probably know what I mean. And not 1 bonus point win for France. I couldn't have seen that before the competition started. Says Brian, yeah, it was like the competition I felt was Ireland versus France. That first game is going to determine the Six Nations. But I didn't realize it was going to determine it. And one of the sides wasn't going to really step up throughout the rest of the competition. Just what we have got here, gasping for air. That's a better way of saying it rather than sucking in the big ones. And no other way to put it, boss, says Blues Nate. Now Stephen Varney on the 22. That being their own here, Italy. Ball's being put in. Now off the back, nice looping play. Trying to find their next link up in Italy. Making it now up to the halfway line. Fantastic run. Finds the off-foot there for Varney. One more pass and it does find the hands of Monteioani. Now Zuliani tries to spin. But they have just made 50 metres in a matter of 2 phases. Monteioani, big tackle made on him by William Marchand. And 14's lost 3 games. France and Ireland finishing bottom of the table, says Kerr. Yeah, that is certainly different to what we've got in the current landscape of the rugby world. Marancello. There was Marie. Zuliani, 22 metres out from the line for the Italians. Garbisi, short ball to Juan Ignacio Breck, slammed into the ground by the French defence, who have had to defend for 9 phases in a row. Garbisi sold the dummy. Great offload to Zuliani. Italy are in for the try. Capuzzo scores it. This is for the chance of drawing. And they've still got 10 minutes remaining. We see the hands on their heads for the French. And France have fallen off since the Rugby World Cup. It's because of Dupont. I don't think it's just Dupont. I think that there are a lot of things for French rugby at the moment that don't seem to quite be clicking. But that is a massive one that has almost silenced this French crowd completely. You could hear a pin drop at the ground. And hey, Hamish, I hope you're doing well. How's Italy doing? Just got here, so I'm not sure what is going on. So I hope for Italy, there certainly is T7. You arrived at the perfect time to see the first try of the match for the Italians, who are now considered only $3.20 underdogs in this matchup. And I'll say, effing right, doggy, come on Italy, says Kerr there. Like I said, only plays in the Italian 15 kit. Capuzzo is playing as a winger there with that play out wide. Now, chance for Garbisi. This is to give them a tied game with 10 minutes remaining, 13 points to 13. But the kick does need to go over, or else the Italians will have to get themselves some other form of points, which of course they will be chasing anyway. Kick is a good from Paolo Garbisi. That is a fantastic strike, making the score 13 points to 13. Tell you what, you can't predict the Six Nations, that is for sure. A great bit of work from the Italians, who are now still considered $3.70 underdogs here, up against the French, who are actually $2.25 favourites. Both sides paying more than that $2 mark, which you don't see too often. A nice one, Italy. And finally, the pass to Carbs kicked in, says Stefan. So currently the draw is considered as the most likely occurrence. And this one, a perfect kick, says Brian. And chat's alive, says cool story, bro. And for what started as one of the slower paced Six Nations game, could end up finishing as one of the most entertaining perhaps for the final 10-minute patch of the game. We have seen quite a few last-minute thrillers in the 2024 Six Nations already. Antonio retired after the Rugby World Cup, and they asked him to come back. There's Gus, cross kick there. Goes to Burian. The ball, that's popped up on top. Okay, that was well done by Niccolo Canoni there. The ball popped up, looked like it was going to be available. He tried to grab it. The referee said, leave it. And the guy said, okay, sorry. And then got his hands out of there. Passing out wide, Mofana's done well to bring that one in. 8 minutes left on the clock, though. And don't get me wrong, France are still well and truly in this game. And if they continue to have the ball in hand, they will slowly become more and more of a favourite to finish out this contest. But the Italians, if they can hold on and they can somehow get themselves a turnover soon, they will be the team that walk away with the chance of winning. That's going to be kicked in behind, nicely taken by the Italians, but they're only just in from the touchline. Garbesi, it's been tackled very well, and it's going to be a knock on there. The crowd fired up at the moment. That little mistake could lead to a three-pointer opportunity for the French. And Italy have played quite well since they had the Irish manager. They know how to kick it now, says Martin. And come on, Italy, says Sam. I'm going to ask the question, ladies and gents. How many people at the moment here I think the right word is hoping. How many people are hoping to see Italy win this game? Because it seems like the underdog story is well and truly alive. They were $18 underdogs at one point throughout this game. We have got the stoppage at the moment. Possession, of course, we'll need to try and get it soon. And 100%. And yes, says Ta. 6.5 minutes left. Me, says Martin. I feel an inevitability that French will take it. I hope Italy can do it. Says Brian, yeah, with where the scrum is, you just get that sense that there's going to be a backline movement and they'll cross the try line, France. Like, I know that sounds bad for Italy, and it would be. And yep, Italy, says Gavin. I mean, the underdog will always be a factor, and I have France by 17, and I do, says Gus. And I hope Italy wins, only because I don't like France to win anything. The ball. Lee Garrick, he took his time to get that ball out, but they will be right in the middle of the field. Good attacking run from Mofana. Made his way on the field early on for Jalabert. That is a knock-on from the French. And Capuzio now going on the outside to Montijuani. He's kicked that one downfield. That was really dumb because now the advantage is over for the knock-on. And Ramos and the French backs will be able to try and create their next attacking scenario. Wrestle down on the halfway line now though, France. Going back across Galficu. Puts it in behind. Here comes Mofana again with some space. Knocked on from Pinot. How many times do we see that man dropping the ball? Not very often at all. Like thus said, France are trying. It's just trying to find that next pass that will give them a bit more of a chance. All right, oh. Hang on. Okay, scrum is picked. I was confused there for a second. It seemed to be that they were looking at something, but it seems like that has been looked at and cleared. And come on, Italy. And our scrum is looking for both in terms of dominance. I think that France's scrum has got the advantage in this game. All right, the odds at the moment. The draw is the most likely occurrence in this game, ladies and gentlemen. France are $3 underdogs. Italy are $4.50 underdogs. There are the stats, ladies and gents. Under 5 minutes to go, like they are saying. And Italy are in possession now. Big scrum. They've got the penalty advantage and they will win that penalty at scrum time. So I talked about the dominance. It's actually, probably the Italian scrum lately that looks like it's stronger in the later stages. But early on, it was France all day. I think that was due to who they had in their starting lineup. At nervous times, the draw. Of course, if it does end in a draw, it is a draw. Unlike in the sevens that we have been covering, where we will go to golden point time, we do not have that in the Six Nations. And any sort of point here for the Italians, which I believe at this stage they are guaranteed to get at least 1 point, they will manage to get themselves more points than they got in last year's Six Nations competition, but 40 metres out. Line out now for the Italians, well picked up by France, and they take the ball back here. They've just talked about it, Italy making a bad decision, going for a 3 and 4 man line out when they needed to try and create deception. Pinot breaking down the wing, the inside ball's there for France. Legatic couldn't get that next pass away though, and Italy, okay, they almost just lost that ball. Ramos going across here, trying to step their way through here. Oh, is that a clear release? No. Doesn't end up getting the turnover. Galtier, will be getting his P45. And me says Sam, looks like they're going to be setting up for a drop kick here soon, France. Dropping players back. More than likely, Ramos would be the man that they go to if they were to decide to take it on. For now, though, they're getting out wide to Fiku. A penalty against the Italians would almost be the end of this game. 2.5 minutes remaining. Legatic goes across. Now it's starting to look like a drop kick area. Oh, the ball's been stolen by Italy though, so that will stop the drop kick attempt. They are deep inside of their own territory. Doesn't look like they want to kick it back. Montione puts in the fend. Makes a few extra meters along the way. Might go for a drop goal. Yeah, I think that was the initial plan there for the French. The ball's been taken back by Italy, who now have to kick it downfield. And they kick it very well. 2 minutes remaining. Will France take a draw at this point? You have to ask that question. Is that something that they would consider as maybe a good idea? Or do they look to get that last try? They take it quickly here. They're going to try and keep the ball alive. Hang on. They weren't on the mark, so they do have to go back to take their line out again, to lose a lineup with the pressure on the other side to not commit a penalty. That's so bad, says Mikhail. And well, just tuned in, delighted for Italy. Says Trevor, what a kick. Says Brian, yeah, well, it's a fantastic one. Looks like Ferrari is still getting patched up. On to the mechanic, trying to get that blood to stop flowing from his forehead, and it has been flowing quite nicely since a couple scrums ago. Of course, that rear card of Jonathan Dante changed the momentum for this French side. But 1 minute remaining, they are currently sitting 35 metres out from their own line. Well done from Stephen Varney. He could see that Spagnoli was going to get himself penalised, so he pulled him out of that breakdown. Now, back across Galficu, goes to Ramos. Can France score that last minute try that we know that they have in their sleeve or up their sleeve? Or will it be the Italians to cause an upset? We've got 30 seconds remaining. We might see a draw. That is a big shot to the face of Spagnoli. Looks like he is going to be injured. Wide cut out pass. Does go backwards. Damien Pinot. And that one as well. Back across to the left-hand side. If you're France, do you accept the draw? There's 15 seconds remaining. And you think it should be Italy winning by 7. Unfortunate for them. Now at the back line again. Mofana taken down. 5 seconds. That was a knock-on from Fiku. Referee says play on. Or looked like one anyway. They're into the red zone. France do not look like they want to put this ball into touch. Do they want to go for it? They're going to pass this one out wide here, the French. Go tackle on Mofana, rolling away. Italy have got the penalty. And now a kick to win the game for the Italians. But Garbisi needs to get it over. So, the situation we find ourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, in the 80th minute of this game, there is no extra time. If Garbisi gets this kick, Italy beat France for the first time since 2013. They are about 34 meters out for this kick. If Garbisi misses, and this is one of the most important kicks of his career, if he misses, then France and Italy will draw. So that is going to be the stipulations now set, now laid out. Now it's all down to Garbisi. And if he can get this kick over, the Italians are in tears. No one wants to watch. There were men with their eyes closed, teammates of Garbisi, who is 100% kicking accuracy today. I can't state that enough. He has got everything over. I almost don't want to watch. 38 meters out, 2 from 2. He's got 15 seconds on the shot clock. If he takes too long, it will be the draw. Hang on. France are charging. The ball fell off the tee. There's a water guy on the field. Garbisi has to rush this kick now. He's struck it. And he's hit the post. The game continues. France are going to go for one last attack. Mofana ran it into touch. He was not keen on continuing. And it's a draw between these two sides. France and Italy, 13 apiece in this one. But you can't write it. No one could have predicted it for that ball to hit the post. But Garbisi was about to take the kick. The ball fell off the tee. France tried to charge it down, but because they had a waterman on the field, it meant that they weren't able to. And then Garbisi had to place it quickly, run back to his mark, looked at the post, rushed the kick, and in the end it cost the Italians. But crazy. End to the game. 13 apiece between these two sides. What a cliffhanger. Says Morne Lagrange, great commentary. Thanks, mate. And feel bad for the Italians. They deserve to win that game. I think that they outplayed France defensively. And I think that on attack, that last kick was all that they needed. And they just couldn't quite get it done. Super crazy, says Mikhail. And you can see the frustration on the players' faces. Also the emotion of knowing how close that they were to being able to get that victory and just narrowly missing out by what some would call the thinnest of a possible margin. We have got there. Thanks, Amish, was great content. Says Mikhail. No way, says Mikhail. And there as well. Yeah, the fact that that hit the post as well, like the only way that that one was going to be continuing. The weird thing was, Mofana, I don't think he wanted to kick the ball into touch, but he wanted to make sure that he ran it into touch. So that worst comes to worst, like if he wasn't able to get down the wing, he had the enforcement of the touchline on his side. But Garbisi, you can see how sad that he is. They haven't been able to get that one. 2024, it'd be crazy. Why did that ball fall? Says Mono Grange. That's a great question. I don't think there's any wind, so I think it just ended up, just randomly falling. I know that they've got the ball tracking. Maybe someone with a little remote control just went, boop, knocked it off the tee. And big Hugman, I see you in another stream, man, says Mikhail, and thanks so much for bringing commentary, says Brian. The next live stream that we have got, it is going to be South Africa versus Australia. That one is kicking off in 2 hours and 20 minutes time or so. And we are going to be covering that one on the channel as well, followed by Argentina versus USA and New Zealand versus France. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be back for the Six Nations in 2 weeks' time. The URC next week. Second game in a row, the Timo stopped France losing, says Kerr. And tell you what, they were close. I feel like in some regards, well, that's the thing. Like, it's hard to know who to feel worse for in terms of whether to feel worse for Italy or Scotland. I would still probably say, but Italy, this is one of those I don't want to say once in a decade moments, but it almost is. Because they really get the chance to take down France. And this was almost redemption from their game in the Rugby World Cup where they lost 60 points to 7. And how much this has changed since that pool stage match. But yeah, have to wait and see what that does for the Italian confidence moving forward. They will be up to 3 points on the Six Nations table. We'll just quickly go like this. Okay, not quite. They won't overtake the Welsh, but they are close in the points differential, and those two sides still have to play a little bit later on in the competition. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. It is greatly appreciated you all being here. Would love for the Six Nations to be done in 5 consecutive weekends. There's all in the game. And yeah, it does get a little bit confusing when we have random weeks that are gaps and then other weeks that are not gaps. But yeah, hopefully the next week is going to be just as entertaining. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I mentioned, the 7's coming very soon on the channel. I will see you all for the